There's a difference between the channel that you are and the work that you do in the world. And I'll say this again. There's a difference between the channel that you are and the work that you've come here to do on yourself and in the world. And the number one thing that stops people from sharing themselves, sharing their gift, what they have to share with the world, is this idea that you need to be perfect in order to actually share something, and that you're not enough, essentially. And this belief and this idea usually just comes as a conglomerate of just a general sense of inadequacy, but more often than not, it masquerades itself, it has many hats, as subtle ideas that make logical sense. And usually in the form of like, I can't share myself yet because I'm not ready. And the evidence for that is here. I can't talk about life and share my wisdom because my life isn't perfect yet. I can't talk about health because my health isn't perfect yet. On and on and on. And I've talked to so many would-be incredible healers and leaders who just stop themselves short. They're just usually on a precipice either of starting, and that totally doesn't get them to start, or they're already doing something and they're just stuck. They need to get to the next level of actually sharing themselves, but they're paralyzed by that fear. And I'm probably oversimplifying it because there's sometimes more to it than that, but I want to speak to this directly. You do not need to be perfect to share. There's a difference between the channel that you are and the work that you do. And what that means is fundamentally recognizing your God-given right to just be a channel, to the fact that sometimes awesome things can just come through you, and that's okay, and that's immensely valuable. Like, you do not need to be a master chef to look up a recipe and create an awesome cake. How silly would it be if you were like, man, I would love to make this awesome cake, but you know what? I haven't been to culinary school yet, so me just looking at this recipe and making it, well, that would be sacrilegious. It's a total breach of integrity, right? That would be silly. Now, mind you, of course, it's important to have humility, right? It's so important to have humility and to recognize that, okay, I'm not perfect, right? Like, it would be, if you don't see how fucked up you are and you have some egoistic, inflated idea of yourself as some perfect, incredible person, like, look at me, I know everything and I'm going to talk about it, yeah, then you're kind of screwed. You know, it's probably high time to get a bit of a taste of humility, and sure enough, life will bring you there eventually if it hasn't already. And if you're watching this, chances are it already has, right? Like, first of all, like, life will bring you there regardless, okay? Like, there's no amount of perfection you can create in your life, even if you're doing everything right. Life will sometimes bring you to your knees. It will just take the carpet from right underneath your feet, and you will fall on your ass. You will be brought to your knees, and it will be immensely difficult, even if you do everything right. So it's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. You're never going to get to that place of finally obtaining the authority, the God-given permission to share something. There's only one person that decides you're ready, and that's you. And there's only one moment, and that's always right now. So it might as well be you, and it might as well be right now. But to continue, there's a difference between the channel that you are and the work that you do in the world. You can make cakes even if you're not perfect. You can talk about health even if your health is not perfect. And it's precisely that it's not perfect as to why that download is coming for you, that inspiration to share is actually coming for you, because, and you got to realize this, the stuff that's coming for you, the stuff that you're inspired to talk about, to do, or share, is the stuff that it's always the stuff that you need to work on the most. Like, the stuff that I share in my videos, I've just made peace with the fact that that's what I need to learn the most in my life, okay? In the past, I used to be a workaholic, an anxious, totally freaking bipolar person, totally messed up in so many areas of my life, even though I had quote-unquote success externally in some businesses that I used to have. All right, that used to be my life. These days, like, my whole world is about mind, body, spirit connection, healing, nature, adventure, connection with people, learning how to be a better human being and how to interface with life so I can bring about the truth of who I really am and my divine inspiration and channel that into 3D. That's what I do. It doesn't mean I have it perfect, doesn't mean I have it figured out. And very often life does bring me to my knees and makes things incredibly difficult. Hola. So that's okay. that's okay. That's the work that I do. That's the work that I'm here to do as a humble servant of God. Because I'm not perfect. There's a difference between the channel that you are and the work that you do. And most people think it has to come from them. And that's why it's a test, you see. That's why most people never start, because they think they're not worthy. Because they can't find that worth within them. They think it has to come from them, that it can't come through them. But the reality is it's kind of reversed. It's counterintuitive. When you finally allow things to just like come through you, and you're humble enough to say, it's not all about me. I don't have to be perfect. It can come through me. Then you actually find the worth, because the worth comes from deeper than your personal sense of self. It comes from the divine. It comes from that dissolution of the boundaries of who you think you are. Like the most profound, epic stuff that has ever come through me has always come through me when I'm just not even thinking about it. When I'm just in this flow state, just surrendering to source and letting it just come through me. And that's immensely fulfilling. You don't have to be perfect. And furthermore, I will say that sharing yourself is immensely healing for you and for the world. We are living in an incredibly wild time right now. Like how messed up is it that free speech right now is at the forefront of debate, right? How incredible is it that there are so many things to talk about also, to share our opinions about, that really need to be spoken about? And how incredible is it that just a few hundred years ago, if you were to open your mouth about these things and speak, you'd likely be burned at the stake, killed, tortured. I mean, some people in the world still are tortured and killed for sharing their beliefs. Some of these people have been my friends. I know people right now who are in prison for sharing the truth, for standing up for what they believe. In the USA. Imprisoned unlawfully. So that's what I mean is deeper than that, because this fear of speaking out sometimes is deep in ourselves. It's the trauma that we've collected. And I don't know if you believe in past lives or not. My direct experience says that it's true. But regardless, it's in us genetically, hereditally, however you say that. A lot of trauma is passed down generationally. We inherit it in ourselves. I can feel the pains and screams of my grandmothers and grandfathers, of my ancestors, whose voices never were heard, who didn't even have the will to speak or the means to do so. So we live in an incredible time. Case in point, there's a lot of fear around being a channel of the divine. And by stepping into being a channel, you not only get over yourself and help yourself and heal yourself and your own voice as you speak out, as you share, you inspire others to do so as well. And that's the second and tertiary effects that you create through the magic of your shares. And that's why it's so important to remember that it's not all about you. It's not all about you and your story and your business and your visions and your passions. It's about all of us together. We've got to come, I believe, into a place where we're all inspired to share, to speak. And this is not a time right now on this planet to stay silent and to be dormant and to stay paralyzed in fear of what will they think, and I am not enough because blah blah blah. I can't make cake because I'm not a fucking master chef. BS. Just get in the kitchen and make some noise. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this liberated you. If you'd like some help in this area of your life, check out the link below. I specialize in helping people free their transmissions and their voices, and I would love to go deeper with you. There's a beautiful video in there that I think you might find inspiring. In any case, Subscribe button is down below. Please support this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.